I just had the miserable task of watching the Indiana Fever play basketball without Caitlin Clark. There were a whole lot of things wrong with this game on the basketball side of things. Obviously, the Indiana Fever's interior defense was horrible. If you watched this game, you saw them give up, I think, over 50 points in the paint. Aaliyah Boston looked like a cone down there. It was literally horrible to watch. I haven't seen a team play that bad interior defense in a long time. They were not even trying. It's like Caitlin Clark wasn't playing out there, and they decided, you know what, since Caitlin Clark isn't playing, we're not even going to try. We know we're going to lose. It was horrible to watch. This is a game you could have won against the youngest team in the league.
I can't believe what the hell I just watched. Embarrassing. Embarrassing performance by the Indiana Fever, the Caitlin Clarkless Indiana Fever. That was an awful performance. I cannot believe how trash y'all look.
Caitlin Clark missed one game, and the Indiana Fever played like they were blindfolded with oven mitts. What happened? Did they forget how basketball works without their queen on the court? Oh, but Caitlin didn't stay quiet. She went off, like someone had insulted her three-point shot at Thanksgiving dinner. You won't believe what she said, or how fast the Fever collapsed like a lawn chair at a barbecue. Buckle up. This meltdown is Hall of Fame material.
So, the Indiana Fever did not look good without Caitlin Clark. I guess that would be an understatement. Look, I mean, it's not that surprising to see the drop-off for the Fever without Clark. This Caitlin Clark effect, if you will. Because so often what's talked about is her impact on interest or economics, but all of that is based on her abilities as a basketball player.
Caitlin Clark sits out one game, and the Indiana Fever immediately start auditioning for a horror movie called When Fundamentals Die. One moment, they're riding the Caitlin Clark hype train. The next, that train hits a wall, explodes into confetti, and everyone's just standing around wondering if anyone remembers how to play basketball.
To be here with you guys today, the Indiana Fever lose to a young Washington Mystics team, 83-77.
To be here with you guys today, the Indiana Fever lose to a young Washington Mystics team, 83-77. It was like watching a magician leave the stage and the crew just panicked, dropped the wand, and tripped over the rabbit. Caitlin took a seat, and the Fever responded with a performance so flat, so lifeless, so offensively offensive that fans...
Not surprised. As I said tonight, not surprised one bit. A lot of blame to go around with this team. You found out tonight, truly, that without Caitlin Clark, this offense does not function.
To be here with you guys today, the Indiana Fever lose to a young Washington Mystics team, 83-77. It was like watching a magician leave the stage, and the crew just panicked, dropped the wand, and tripped over the rabbit. Caitlin took a seat, and the Fever responded with a performance so flat, so lifeless, so offensively offensive that fans weren't sure if they were watching a basketball game or a live demonstration of how to waste 40 minutes of their lives.
On the wall for these next couple games, bro, because I'm telling you right now, the Indiana Fever is in a heap of trouble, bro. I mean, it is hot in the kitchen. Sydney Colson is not it. I just gotta keep it real, dog. I ain't gonna get on here a lot. She looked bad. I mean, Stephanie White looked bad. The whole team just looked bad.
And the players, oh, bless their hearts. They looked genuinely stunned, like they had no idea the game still goes on when Caitlin Clark's on the bench. You could practically hear the internal monologue on the court. Wait, you mean I'm supposed to dribble and think at the same time? Without her?
Just embarrassing. This was an embarrassing game. Stephanie White, down 12 points with 6 seconds to go, just called a timeout. She just called a timeout. This was a absolute embarrassment. An embarrassing performance from the Indiana Fever.
Here's a revolutionary concept. Maybe, just maybe, don't build an entire franchise strategy around one person doing everything. Because when that person sits, the rest of the roster suddenly looks like they were selected via lottery drawing. At a middle school pep rally. The passes were so off target. Fans in the nosebleeds were ducking. The defense was so absent. The opposing team started sending thank you cards. It's not that they lost. It's how they lost. Sure, you expect a dip when your superstar is out. You don't expect the team to spontaneously combust like they've been cursed by a basketball witch. Caitlin Clark was watching from the sidelines like a mom who left her toddler alone with a can of paint. That silent fury, the "I swear to God if I have to come in and save y'all again" look, was all over her face, and oh, it showed. Her face was basically a live meme, eyes squinting, lips pursed, arms crossed, the human version of a performance review. She didn't have to say a word. The disappointment was louder than the score gap, because this isn't just about a bad game, it's a full-blown indictment of the Fever's entire structure. Caitlin Clark isn't just the engine. She's the wheels, the brakes, the GPS, the air freshener, and the driver. Without her, the whole car crashes into a ditch and sets itself on fire. The Fever without Caitlin? They're like a band that forgot the lead singer is the band.
Another thing for the Fever, obviously, Caitlin Clark out, minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain. To me, when somebody says, or it gets announced that it's minimum, I'm like, ooh, that's probably 2 to 4 week situation. So I think this is a moment that we're going to find out, like, what is the Fever really made of?
And this tragic comedy? Oh, it has layers. Remember all that preseason hype? Caitlin's going to have help. We've recruited talent. She's not alone out there. Cute. Really cute. What they meant was, we found some people with arms and legs, and we're praying muscle memory kicks in eventually. It's hard to overstate how badly the team underperforms when Clark's off the court, but let's try anyway. The Fever's offense without her looks like someone trying to bake a cake by smashing eggs on the counter and yelling, "Bake!" for 40 minutes. There's effort, there's motion, but no results. Just sticky confusion and shame. And the WNBA? Oh baby, you can feel the panic ripple through league offices every time Caitlin's not on the court. Because when she's not lighting up the scoreboard, guess what else takes a nosedive? Everything. TV ratings, splat, ticket sales, cratered, merchandise. Slower than Indiana's offense without her. You could practically hear an ESPN executive screaming, "Get her back on the court. I don't care if she has a broken leg, duct tape it."
Well, we're going to talk more about Caitlin Clark's absence and the impact this is felt, that's being felt around the league, and even in Indiana. It's going to be a big impact. Okay, I did a video the other day. They were talking about the impact of Caitlin Clark on the WNBA being very close to $1 billion.
This league has never seen a star suck the spotlight out of the room this efficiently. Caitlin Clark sneezes and it trends. She blinks and it becomes a GIF. When she's off the court, the entire WNBA product feels like a corporate PowerPoint. Presentation in desperate need of caffeine and a soul. And let's talk economics. When Caitlin plays, arenas are packed, hot dogs are $12, and you have to fight someone's grandma on eBay for a ticket. Without her, you could walk in with a coupon and get upgraded to courtside, with a free foam finger and a hug from the mascot. The drop-off isn't subtle. It's seismic. Without Caitlin Clark, the league goes from Super Bowl-level energy to a local high school talent show featuring interpretive dance and confusion. And let's not even pretend the Indiana Fever had a real recruiting plan. Their strategy was basically, Caitlin will figure it out. That was it. Step 1, draft Caitlin Clark. Step 2, championship. They looked at a once-in-a-generation player and thought, perfect, now we can all relax.
Now, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark against the Atlanta Dream scored 12 points in a quarter. The Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark scored 13 points in a quarter. The Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark have back-to-back quarters scoring 17 points in one and 13 points in another.
They forgot. She's just a player, not a miracle worker. She didn't show up with a magic wand. She came with a jump shot and sky-high expectations. And somehow that was enough for everyone to assume she'd carry 11 other people like she. Was delivering groceries through a blizzard on a tricycle? And the media? Oh, they're all over it. Wow, the Fever just didn't look the same without Caitlin. Gee, really? That's like saying a pizza shop without pizza felt off. Of course it didn't look the same without her. Without Caitlin, it's just missed layups, clanked threes, and pick attempts so awkward you start to wonder if pick and roll is just a theoretical concept in Indiana. Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is already the MVP of this team. Not future MVP, not potential star. No, she is the MVP. She's the oxygen tank. Everyone else is just holding their breath, praying she doesn't notice the walls are closing in. And this isn't about one bad night. This is the unveiling of a truth no one in the WNBA wants to admit out loud. They need her. Not want, not hope for, need. She's the pulse, the heartbeat, the one keeping the lights on while the rest of the building forgets to pay the power bill.
Playing against a bunch of rookies out there. This was a winnable game for the Indiana Fever. This team, mind you, with Caitlin Clark, literally lost by 2 to the New York Liberty, which is the championship team last year. And without Caitlin Clark, you look trash out there. And it's not even that they look trash. They are boring to watch.
The moment Caitlin's not on camera, the script falls apart. The narrative dries up. The energy collapses. Suddenly, we're watching a scrimmage between two teams that look like they just met in the parking lot. The Fever without Caitlin. It's a movie trailer without the explosions. A playlist without the beat drop. A romance without the kissing. Just long, boring nothing. Meanwhile, Caitlin's sitting there like a teacher watching a substitute fumble through a lesson plan written in Klingon. You can see it in her body language. She knows she has to come back, because if she doesn't, they're one game away from hiring a motivational speaker during a timeout and passing out "you tried" stickers at the final buzzer. So, what now? The Fever need a plan that doesn't involve Caitlin Clark doing literally everything short of turning on the arena lights. The WNBA needs a vision that doesn't rest entirely on one woman's shoulders like she's the basketball version of Atlas and the fans. They need a refund for having to witness what might go down as one of the most comically chaotic performances in modern sports history.
And her abilities as a basketball player were sorely missing for the Fever against the Mystics, where her playmaking abilities especially. You know, the team only had 15 assists. She averages over 9 a game. Their points per game were 11 lower than normal, and they got a bunch of buckets in garbage time. They had 0 fast break points, which is unimaginable.
Oh, we're not done. Not even close. Because the aftermath of Caitlin Clark sitting out wasn't just a Fever meltdown, it was a full-blown league identity crisis. Picture it. The post-game press conference. Reporters shuffle in with the same energy as fans leaving a Coldplay concert halfway through. You could hear the soft worrying of shattered expectations. One by one, players sit down clutching their bottled water like it's a security blanket. The questions were merciless. What happened out there? Translation. Why did it look like you were playing Twister instead of basketball? And the answers? Oh, bless. You'd think they were trying to solve quantum mechanics with how hard they searched for excuses. We just need better communication. Sure, like maybe one of you could communicate to the rim that it exists and would appreciate being involved in your shot attempts. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark sat in the corner with the expression of a group project leader watching everyone else wing the PowerPoint without reading the slides. You could practically see her calculating how many career years she'll have to shave off her prime just to keep the Fever above 10 wins.
All right, Indiana Fever's first game without Caitlin Clark, and it turned out to be a loss. And not just a loss, but the biggest loss they've had thus far. Now, was it a blowout? Absolutely not. Actually, what I expected did come to pass. DeWanna Bonner had over 20 points. She stepped up as a vet. Not super consistent. She did have some missed shots. She wasn't like the all-star that we're expecting her to be. Natasha Howard also had over 10 points. Not bad, but we didn't get that energy that we normally get from Caitlin Clark.
And while the players danced around accountability like it was hot lava, the WNBA front office was having a silent breakdown in an undisclosed location somewhere. A marketing exec clutched a Caitlin Clark jersey, whispering, "She has to come back. She must come back." Because that dip in viewership, it wasn't a dip, it was a nosedive, straight into the Mariana Trench. TV networks kept hitting refresh on their streaming dashboards, watching the numbers fall like the stock market during a scandal. Advertisers blinked, sponsors stuttered. The ticket scalper outside the arena gave up and went home early, tears in his eyes and foam fingers unsold. This isn't just a Caitlin problem. It's an exposure problem. Her absence exposed that the rest of this team, and arguably parts of the league, are about as compelling as a soggy Pop-Tart. All the branding in the world can't cover for a product that loses its sizzle the second its main course takes a bathroom break.
Hey guys, so Fever lose, and basically every organizational deficiency that we knew existed but kind of papered over was laid bare for everybody to see. Post-play, non-existent. They were out-competed, they were out-hustled, they were out-rebounded. Just defensively, we were all over the place. Couldn't hit a shot to save our lives. We ended up shooting under 39% for the game and 20% from three. But really, the big problem is that we just are the backup point guard position. We don't have a catalyst that can start our offense.
And here's the gag. They all know it. Coaches know it. Broadcasters know it. League execs definitely know it. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the power source. Everyone else is just hoping she doesn't unplug herself out of sheer frustration. So the Fever better pray to every basketball deity in existence that Clark stays healthy, happy, and just delusional enough to keep believing she can carry this chaos. Because if she ever decides she's had enough, if she ever says, nope, not today, you can kiss those ratings, sellouts, and corporate partnerships goodbye. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's stimulus package. Without her, the economy crashes. Faster than the Fever's offensive sets. Bottom line, Caitlin Clark is that girl. She's not just raising the bar, she's the reason the bar exists. Without her, everyone else just kind of forgets how to jump. So, to the Indiana Fever, maybe next time your generational talent takes a breather, try not to play like you're being blackmailed by a rival league. And to the WNBA, invest, build, support. Because without Caitlin Clark, you're not just losing a game, you're losing the whole plot. And trust me, no one's tuning in to watch that.
So many of the WNBA players don't like Caitlin Clark, or they just don't fool with her, so to speak. But it has nothing to do with the fact that she's white. People don't like Caitlin Clark because she's simply great. She makes it look easy, and she's young. So she's on a trajectory that many other players will never be on. And the Caitlin Clark effect happened so fast because she's built a following. She's a great player, and she has all the elements to be a champion.
So there it is, crystal clear. Without Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever are basically a group of lost tourists stumbling around the court with no map, no GPS, and zero idea where the basket even is. The WNBA desperately needs her spark because the moment she's off the floor, everything else crumbles faster than their offense. If the league wants to keep fans, ratings, and ticket sales from nosediving, they either need to build a team that can stand without her or just admit Caitlin. Clark is the entire show. Honestly, we wouldn't want it any other way.